Hello, BookTube. I've got a little mail for you today, a couple of packages and a periodical. It's going to have to fill the Steve void, because it looks like I am going to get some work. That I'm going to add some work to my busy, crowded social schedule, which may decrease the number of videos that I make. I was expecting one particular paid job I was kind of expecting would happen in August. It's happened a little early. It's at least been announced a little early. It's not actually a little early. I'm sure that the contract work and everything will happen in August. But I wasn't expecting three things. I was expecting one thing, not three things. And that has thrown me for a loop, and I will get it under control. We will definitely get it under control. I don't want to slack off to the unimaginable extent that I am only making 2 videos a day. I mean, what kind of booktober only makes 2 videos a day? But for today, anyway, it's just going to have to do. And then maybe tomorrow I'm going back and forth with people. There are video conference calls that are going to be set up that I hate. I'll figure it out. I had a very large work assignment last year, and I managed to make BookTube videos right through it. I have no doubt that I'll be able to do that this time as well. But for today, things are a little bit too active today for me to do that. So it's just going to be the 2 videos, including one of the videos that will be missing today, something I have heard from a number of you, dozens of you have emailed me. You can email me about anything. I leave my email on every video. That's not a dummy email. It's not an email I never look at. It's my inbox. It's just, you have to remember, my inbox is a pretty active place. I know that I'm 100 million years old, but my inbox is a pretty active place. And so I might not get to your email right away. And if your email is, not actually interacting with me, you're just stating a fact and then leaving, well, okay, that if you're not asking for a response, you're not going to get one. Or B, if your email is passive-aggressive, so that you write me an email and then you say, no, don't bother to respond. I'll be fine. Don't worry about me. I grew up in an Irish Catholic household. So your paltry attempts to make me feel guilty are piker level. You might as well not make them at all. But nevertheless, if you do make them, I am going to honor them. If you tell me not to respond to your email, I'm not going to respond to your email. I have way too many emails that want a response to do that. And also, number 3, if you write me a doctoral dissertation. If you write an email that is, 1,000 words long, I just a wall of text, that's work. Probably I'm not going to do that. I might, in my mind, I will almost always say, well, I'll get to that. But I won't ever get to it, because responding to a wall of text to a dissertation that's 2,000 words long is a lot of work. And I tend to know from experience, the people who tend to write 2,000-word emails will not be content with a 25-word response. They want a 2,000-word response. I've actually had a few people come out and tell me that, where they might be a 2,000-word email. I think, against my better judgment, I will respond to part of this. Part of this was a question, so I'll respond to part of this. I write back, and the person says, oh, that's very interesting. Now, what about the rest of my email? The last time that someone did that to me, I wrote back and said, oh, so this is homework? So if it's homework, you should be giving me a grade at the end. But nevertheless, in my emails, I shouldn't complain, because the vast number of you, well over 200 people, get it. They know how to do it. They know what email is for and how to do it. Think about texting on your phone. Think about that. You don't ever tap out a 1,000-word text. Nobody ever does. Think about that. But in my emails, people have been saying, what about the Claverlings? What about Anthony Trollope? What about our annotated read aloud? I admit I fell off the wagon. That whole stupid controversy a month ago threw me off my feed, and there were a lot of casualties of that, and gradually some of the casualties came back, but the one that didn't was the read aloud, and that's wrong. That's wrong, because I really enjoy doing that. A lot of you really enjoy it too. And if we can't get to our next book until we finish the Claverlings, we're almost at the end of the Claverlings, so I need to revive that as well, but not today. Today is just going to be a starter kit, a long overdue starter kit, and the mail. And the periodical for the male is Architectural Digest. This is a big square-bound glossy architecture magazine with obscenely expensive items in full-page ads on the front. These obscenely expensive items will usually have a little asterisk note on the bottom saying prices available upon request, because the manufacturers have learned the absolute outrage that will be sparked if they list the price. But it's outrageous either way. You can go to the website and check on the site. So you see a god-awful, gaudy, fake, gold-plated, snake-like analog watch that the body, the chassis, most of the manufactured parts are all made by slaves in China. It costs the manufacturer about $12.50 to make. And if you go to the website and check for the price, it's $95,000. That wristwatch is $95,000. And so on and so forth. And it gets much more egregious than that. But you get all those advertisements at the front, and then in the back you get big house profiles that we tend to go through together. Some of the stuff at the front is interesting in some ways. Every once in a while, the people who do the photo shoots here will include children, even though they don't know what children are. They don't have any idea what children are. Their children are basically props. This kid is just a prop. Just came in from the swimming pool, did you, on a photo set? But this is what I mean. Something like that. That's a plate with a poorly drawn merman on the cover, a Nereus figure on the cover. Your mind would boggle at how much that is going to cost. I don't know, but your mind would boggle. I guarantee you it's 5 figures for a plate of cheap ceramic painted by a slave. But anyway, but the front section of the magazine gives you little bits and pieces, little hints here and there of households and the manifold mistakes that they make. These households make a lot of mistakes. Look at this, for instance. Not that. That's not a mistake. Look at that. Look at that. It's a couch, but you can't lean against the side of it because it's a prison cell. You can't lean back because that's a corrugated metal mantelpiece. And you can't lean forward because these are priceless works of stolen art on the coffee table. If you so much as brush against them, they'll fall over and break. So you're just stuck there. This is what you are. You're just stuck there. On, I guess, a couch like that. I guess you could call it a couch. But the key thing that you'll notice in these ads up front, and you'll also notice it in the house profiles in the back, is the yardstick of whether or not your home design is successful. It's a very simple yardstick. You might think that my yardstick, being me, is going to be how comfortable it is for dogs, but it's not that. But it's as close as you can get to that. It's me and Deb. It's me and my age-old frenemy, Deb. How comfortable is your house arrangement for us to come and stay? Because when we come and stay, you're going to complain about it the whole time, but you're going to want us to come back. We're the real deal. But we're both enormous, florid, sweaty, disheveled, ancient dinosaurs. Once we hoist ourselves into a nice, comfortable couch with maybe an alcoholic beverage in front of us, plenty of snack food, nice and comfy, then we're in our element. But when we're moving around, we're like a normal person times 10. Which means that your house cannot be inimical to us. And if it is, your house has failed. Look at that. That's a staircase. Do you have any idea what would happen to me and Dad if we went down that staircase? Not only would we shatter these stupid papier-mâché steps, but we would fall. Now, it wouldn't hurt us, because bumbles bounce. But it would hurt everybody we landed on. It would hurt everybody else. Look at this thing. Right there. That's cheap wooden frame, but it's a rattan seat. The wood does not extend to the seat. So we crack the wood and we go straight through the seat like we were on some sort of alien gravity. Straight through it. Oh, honey, your friend broke our Danvers original. Oh, well, that's okay. I'm sure you won't mind reimbursing us for it. It was $35,000. That chair that you just broke was $35,000. You don't mind, do you? You can just write a check right now. So you get mistakes like that all throughout the front of this thing. But let's let's frog march on to the back. Because the back of the magazine is, look at this, sometimes inviting stuff. Those are bookcases in the back there. That is an inviting space. But usually they're not like that. Usually not at all. So let's go to the house profiles. Yeah, see? That might look appealing, sure, to people who are never going to live in a spot like that. But look, when I see this space, I think, oh, that pool, that's really nice. So that's where the burglars can refresh themselves after they walk through these glass doors, steal everything you have, and kill you all. They've got all sorts of junk on them, your brain matter, so they can just go into that pool and cool off. How convenient of you. We can move on to the house profiles in the back. Like we have a household in Belgium, entirely roofed by old Coca-Cola covers. Has all sorts of austere situations in it that aren't friendly or welcoming at all. And don't be fooled by the vegetation out the windows. This is going to be bakingly hot 10 months a year. The area where this house is going to be bakingly hot. And that is only going to be compensated by trucking in huge amounts of water. Then we have, what is this? This is the Pomona Valley in California. Again, what is going to happen there? Look at that chair. Now, lever either me or Deb down into that chair. What's going to happen to the chair? It's not that we're going to be uncomfortable. We're only going to be uncomfortable for the 5 seconds it takes us to get decanted onto the floor underneath a mess of whatever this chair used to be. We would simply destroy it. A normal person sitting in that chair would simply destroy it. And then you would have made myself and Deb unhappy. In our visit to your sun-parched home, you would have made us unhappy. Now, this staircase is solidly made with a really convenient banister. I'm not sure. I can't blame the staircase because it's kind of nice, but going downstairs in circles like that would probably disorient me and Deb. Zoop, 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 ooh. But let's move on. Like, for instance, we have this gravel pit in the baking outside sunlight. Those are supposed to be chairs. What am I supposed to do with that? What am I supposed to do with that piece of furniture? It isn't a chair. If I can't sit in it, it's not a chair. So then we'll move on. We'll move on to the Hamptons, of course. Everybody in the Hamptons eagerly waits for the Architectural Digest team to come to their home. Now, here we have the hating parents and the unwanted children. But if there's unwanted children frolicking around in their Sunday best, maybe there's a giant, creepy giraffe? It could be. The last few times we've looked, we haven't seen that, but it could be. The working fireplace, the complete absence of bookcases, the living room spaces that have most of the seating area is looking away from the natural leafy outside, except for that chair, which is looking at the outside, but it doesn't matter because what Deb and I are going to be looking at if we try to sit in that chair is the inside roof of an ambulance, because that is going to blast apart like you put dynamite under it if we try to lever ourselves down into that chair and sit in it. We'll have to sit in this couch instead, which means we lose the view. Same thing with this thing. That is a chair. Do you know what happens to that if Deb and I sit in it? It bends completely down like that. We go falling ass over tea kettle out the back. It becomes a coat hanger. Instantly. We're not talking about if we jump on it or if we sit on it 1,000 times. Just once. The one time. Maybe Deb wants to sit at that desk in order to write out our 12th articles of divorce. She sits in that chair. It snaps closed like a coat hanger. She goes ass over tea kettle onto the floor and maybe forgets about the divorce. But the chair has to be scrapped. The chair has to be scrapped. And these houses are just full of these things. I mean, look at that. What am I supposed to do with that? Am I supposed to sit in that? If I'm not supposed to sit in it, why make it a chair? Anyway, we have a museum profile, and I think there's one last house at the end. Yes, on the Hawaiian island of Maui, a guest house, a hideous guest house that manages to look like both a bomb shelter and a crime scene, where it doesn't look, none of it looks comfortable to me at all, but the coup de grace is a chaise lounge out in the sun-parched. Don't let the greenery fool you. This is a sun-parched area. And again, I have one of these things here, one of these folding contraptions here, and it's a death trap. Not only do I never know how to unfold it, but I can never get in or out of it when I want to. So that is Architectural Digest. It is full of chair anomalies. but we also have books. So let's look at this first one. Look at just a couple of packages here while I sort out my work life. Once I've sorted out my work life, I will go back up to the BookTube average of 4 or 5 videos a day. Because I wouldn't want to let BookTube down. Right? I mean, no booktuber does 2 videos a day. That's oh great. All right, this is another. We saw I don't have it around here anymore. We saw a book just recently on digital ideas, digital living. And this is another one of those. I'm very interested in these kinds of books. This is by Paul Leonardi, and it's called Digital Exhaustion: Simple Rules for Reclaiming Your Life. I wonder if he'll list any of those rules. I could give you simple rules for reclaiming your life from your electronics. I could give you very simple rules, and I will. At the end, let's see first what the actual publicist has to say. So this comes out in October. Our lives are filled with relentless notifications and digital distractions that leave us drained at the end of the day. We can't escape digital technologies and the threat of exhaustion they bring, but we can learn to use them in healthier ways. In this book, technology management expert Paul Leonardi reveals practical strategies to combat the relentless demands of digital engagement and attention fragmentation, urging us to rethink our relationship with technology. He has spent 2 decades helping people use digital technologies in healthier ways and consulting from major companies like Google and Microsoft, helping them to take advantage of new technologies while defeating digital exhaustion. That's a conflict of interest right there. Google especially wants you to be digitally exhausted. They don't care if you die, provided you are never look away from them. As a leading expert in digital transformations, he is known for offering, quote, practical insights you need to understand the next wave of digital change and ride it smoothly, close quote. With this book, he maps out achievable paths to reducing digital exhaustion without having to give up your tools. He offers realistic approaches based on extensive research that won't fragment your attention and deplete your cognitive and emotional reserves. Many of the changes are simple yet surprisingly effective, and now we're going to hear some of them. Good, let's see what they are. Like waiting longer to respond, making sure you're using the right tool for your task, and being more conscious of the time and energy we allocate to our devices. Okay, well that's a little vague. I would imagine the book will get a lot more specific. I can give you some strategies that will work. They are very simple for dealing with digital exhaustion. All of this is voluntary. You're doing all of this yourself. So it should theoretically be easy to stop. It only requires one thing, and the reason it's not easy is because that one thing has completely disappeared in the 21st century. It is not known anymore. Your grandchildren won't even know what the term means. And that thing is self-control. They won't even know what it means. When you mention self-control to them, they'll say, oh, you mean the app that boots me off my social media after a certain amount of time. That's not self-control. No. I guess mine was the last generation to know what that was. Or maybe the generation after mine. But your grandchildren will not have any idea what it is unless they take it back. It can be learned and relearned. And that is the key to all of the simple rules for reclaiming your life from technology. Self-control. So, unless you're waiting for something, unless you're waiting for an important email, a job, not important in any other way, a real-world job, unless you're waiting for that, check your email at the top of every hour. Train yourself to do it. Make yourself do it. And if you can't do it, if you try and you simply can't make yourself hold off, well, what clearer demonstration do you need that you have an addiction, an actual addiction? Is a behavior you can't control. And shouldn't it concern you if you have an addiction? Step number 1 before you do anything else is silence all your notifications. You're not important. You're a nobody just like I am. Silence all your notifications, all of them. Your machines, your devices should never be talking to you. Never. So don't do it. Just go into the settings and turn them all off. While you're there, you should also turn off a lot of other things too. Turn off any kind of AI that's always listening for your commands. Turn off your GPS location. Turn off all of that. turn off all of that. Don't help the state to co-opt your identity. Don't help them to do that. That's the first thing. Turn off your notifications. If your machines are asking for your attention, audibly asking for your attention, then you have no chance of getting back your fragmented attention. None at all. So, and that's voluntary. And it's totally unnecessary. You do not need to know that, a long-lost friend from high school emailed you this morning. You do not need to know that. You can check your email. If you don't have pressing business in your email, check it at night. Check it as the sun goes down. Once in the morning, and then as the sun goes down. Don't pay attention to it otherwise. Now, that won't work for me because I live online. I live in my inbox. I'm dealing with editors and freelancers and other book reviewers and also all of you. But it isn't important because I have self-control. If you don't have self-control, you have to impose these rules or you'll never get it back. I would argue with that pub sheet when it says that maybe one of the simple ways to reclaim your time is don't respond to things right away. I think if you have stuff sitting in your inbox, it's dragging at you. I think you can feel that. It might help to respond immediately. I myself try my hardest. I don't succeed, but I try my hardest to get to so-called zero inbox every day. Where by the time I log off, we're coming to that, but by the time I log off at the end of the day, my inbox is empty. So that the next morning when I log back on, I only have to worry about what's come in overnight. Or responses to the things I sent the next day, the previous day. But that's another thing, is that you should have internet and social media free spans of time in your day. Whether it's, in my case, for work, or in your case, just to reclaim your own mind. You should have long stretches of the day that don't involve the internet. And again, if you try to impose that on yourself and you find that you physically can't, that you're climbing the walls, that you can't physically stop yourself from checking your devices, then you have an addiction. And that's really serious. Anyway, I'm looking forward to this in October. And then we have another package. It's significantly heavier. No idea what this could be. Let's see what we have here. Oh, it's from one of you. Oh, how wonderful. Oh, great. All right. Well, all right. Then we are continuing with the library book sales of the damned. This is 2 books from one of you. This is Christopher Hibbert's book on Rome. His history of Rome that is oddly sized because it's full of illustrations, just full. Christopher Hibbert is not, I don't think he's in print anymore. I don't know if he's alive anymore. He wrote a whole bunch of really accessible, really good histories and biographies. I like a lot of them. I have almost none of them, but happy to have this. Very much so. Happy to have this on Rome, of all things. And then Edvard Radzinski's book, The Last Tsar, about Nicholas II. There he is with his guards in the background. One of the last pictures that he took as a free, where he was roaming around outside. This is mainly about the end of his life, but it's really good on all of his life as well. It's a terrific book, and every time I see it, I either leave it because I think it's not in good enough shape, or I don't really need a copy at the moment, or I get it and send it out away because people want to know what's a really good. For instance, in this case, a really good example of a book that combines history and biography in a really good way, where both are dealt with extensively and evenly. And this is one of those. This is a perfect example of that. So now I have a copy, and since it was a gift, I probably will try not to get rid of it. So there you go. That is our mail. We actually did continue the library book sale of the damned. We have Christopher Hibbert's book on Rome and Radzinski's book on Tsar Nicholas II. Great. Plus a book on digital exhaustion, which I think affects a lot of you. So anyway, there's the mail on this boiling hot day. Boy, oh boy. The predictions about today's heat did not go wrong. It was nearly 100 degrees Fahrenheit, more or less. I mean, so close that you really couldn't tell. To the point where outside activity was impossible. Just impossible. Where my little baby Bean, there she is, scratching her little whiskers. We would go outside and go down the sidewalk, often under the shade of trees, and we still couldn't go more than 400 yards. before we had to just turn around and walk back. As opposed to going anywhere. That's not going anywhere. That's just walking for a stretch in one direction, turning around and walking back along your same path. Dogs hate that. So do I. But there was no way. I mean, we were both dying by the time that was over. So we're going to have to wait. It's going to be hot tomorrow. Not as hot as today, but pretty hot tomorrow. And then we're supposed to have storms, and the whole cycle starts all over again. The temperatures go back to the 70s. Things get more comfortable. We shall see. But today, the Bean and I like a long bit of leg stretching exercise in the middle of the day. It clears the cobwebs away, makes us both feel really good. Gives us both a nice long stretch of time without any electronics, but also without any human stuff, without any English. We're just chatting the whole time, but it's marvelous for both of us, and we don't get to do that when it's mind-bogglingly cold, 30 below zero, and when it's mind-bogglingly hot, like today, 90. I think today topped out at 97 degrees. When those things are true, we can't do that. So we'll both be itching a little for that when we can, but I don't think we're going to get it tomorrow either. But anyway, that's it for today. That is the mail. I will wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.